Hey folks, my name is Chris at Hauseit. Today we're going to talk about a question that many first-time home buyers in Miami ask us, and that is, do common charges for condos increase every year? Should I be prepared to budget for cost increases every year that I own this condominium? What typically happens? Well, the answer to that really varies based on the building, and it's not really so much a regional New York or Florida thing. It really is based on the budgets and the finances and the managing capability of the board of directors of a condo building, and the prudence of the managing agent. So the building's management company that is responsible for actually managing the building on behalf of the condo board. So it really varies. I mean, for example, to give New York some credit, there's a building in New York called the for Condominiums that we've helped list properties before there, and it's very well managed. It hasn't seen a common charge increase for, I'd say, probably 8 years. So it's there are good examples. Sometimes boards are very prudent. Sometimes the board members, you'll hear them say, if in New York you'll see the board meeting minutes, and they might say, raising common charges, the monthlies are like raising taxes. Once you do it, it never goes away. So, some boards have a policy of saying, hey, if we do have something unexpected that we didn't budget for, maybe we will do a special assessment one-off for it. On the other hand, you see, especially some co-ops and such in New York, it really can be anywhere that's poorly managed. Maybe it's a board that is not very involved, or just kind of approves any sort of cost increases without bothering to make sure the management company goes and shops around for better pricing or such. Poorly managed buildings can be anywhere, and sure, in those cases you can see increases in common charges, maintenance, whatever you want to call it, every year. So it certainly is possible, but the answer is no. It's not a universal rule that it will increase every year. And of course, it depends on who you ask. I'd say most agents would tell you on average to budget in some sort of inflation plus estimate for how much common charges will increase every year. Because after all, inflation does affect your building's finances, so it's not unreasonable to sort of assume that most buildings on average will have at least an increase. That's the inflation rate for common charges every year. So again, depends on the building. It can be a lot better or a lot worse than inflation. It can be nothing at all. This is why it's really important when you're buying a condo, or if you're buying a co-op in New York, which is a special form of ownership seen in New York, to really do your diligence during the inspection period. In New York, it's called the due diligence period. So take a deep look through the building's documents, the building's audited financial statements for the past 2 years. Take a look at their offering plan. If possible, take a look at their board meeting minutes. In New York, it's pretty standard, not standard here in Florida. But do your homework. Even better, if you know any friends or neighbors, or you can ask around some folks who live in the building or own in the building, it's even better, because then you're going to get more of an inside track on what's been going on. Have they been raising common charges? What it's been like over the past years? Does the board seem competent? Do they seem to know what they're doing? So that's a great way as well before pulling the trigger on something. One thing to keep in mind as well as an ending pro tip is, sometimes these costs really can't be, anticipated. So for example, in South Florida, insurance costs are actually quite high. And you'll especially notice this for single family homes, where, if you're buying a single family home, you're going to have to pay for your own flood insurance. If you're in a condo, you don't, because the building does. But, the building's, hazard and flood insurance premiums can go up quite a bit. And South Florida is sort of unique in that, just because the market can be quite expensive for insurance premiums, just primarily because there's so much insurance fraud, unfortunately. People calling up lawyers who are promising to get them a free roof and such like that. You see stuff like that happening. So there is more of that in Florida, unfortunately, which is why premiums are a bit higher. We hope that gets fixed in the near future, but that's something to think about as well. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Chris at Hauseit. We can help you save up to 6% when you sell with an agent-assisted FSBO listing. We also have a more hands-on service called 1% for full service. And if you're looking to buy, we can help you save 2% or more with our Hauseit Buyer Closing Credit Program, where we give you 2/3 of the buyer agent commission, subject to us keeping 1% or $7,500 as of this writing as a minimum. We cover all of New York, including Long Island and the Hudson Valley and New York City, of course. And in Southeast Florida, we cover Miami-Dade County, Broward County, St. Lucie County, Martin County, and Palm Beach counties. My name is Chris at Hauseit, and we'll see you on the next one.